No, let's do it. Let's do it.
I had to turn on my brights to get over here. It gets very dark the further, the deeper west you get, the more difficult it is for me to see. I said, am I in the parking lot? Who's sitting here?
Art is going to sit there.
Like, okay.
We have it.
Okay, I got you. I'm just messing with you. Like, I'm saying,
We'll invite you up a little bit. Okay. You can find a seat anywhere. I might get in trouble.
like I was scared to even take my coffee further than the table. My grandma first. Yeah. The grandma first. We always got like the candy, like wrap candy, but food, absolutely. Like I really afraid of it.
Excuse me, we're not starting the show quite yet. It's still song practice time, okay? So tomorrow if anybody needs a song sheet, Dandelion here can pass you one. Just raise your hand if you need a song sheet. And we'll start the program probably in just about 5 minutes or so, but I want to run through this song a couple of times. I don't speak Spanish very well. Actually, I don't speak Spanish at all. And when they sing this every week at my congregation, I kind of bumble through it. So I thought it might be nice for all of you to help. One of the things one of my friends who's sitting back there reminded me that it's probably a good idea for more of us to speak and sing Spanish more and to get comfortable speaking and singing Spanish. So we're going to be doing 2 songs tomorrow at the Assembly of Joyful Resistance. And so if you want to take these home and practice, you can. Otherwise, leave them at the table back there, the literature table, before you leave. So I'm going to kick this off, and I want everybody to help me. We're going to go right into Spanish afterwards, and then we'll go to the second song on the second side. Question? You need a... Oh, yeah, you can take a picture with your phone. But yes, we're hoping to cut down on printing costs and stuff, so please, if you don't want it, leave it, and we'll bring them to the church tomorrow. So I'm going to kick things off with Come, Come, Whoever You Are, and I encourage you we're going to go right into Spanish. And I'll probably not get it quite right, so if anybody wants to coach me after this session, you can. Is there anyone that knows it really good that would like to come up and lead us, like someone who's good in Spanish? You can't hear? Okay. Is that what you were saying, Claire, that you couldn't hear me? Okay, good. I'll get closer. Okay. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Ben, ben, qual eres, ben, nómadan búsquedas, amas la vida, la nuestra es la caravana de amor. Ben, otra vez, ben. You're supposed to silence your phone before you come to these things. Sorry. All right, let's try that again. Let's do Spanish one more time. We'll go to the next song. Ben, ben, crueles, ben, nómadan búsquedas, ramas la vida, la nuestra es la caravana de amor. Ben, otra vez, ben. I didn't do too badly, did I? No. I suck at Spanish. But anyway, I'm going to get there someday. Now, going to keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Siamos adelante, sempre adelante, siempre adelante, sin volar atrás, sin volar atrás. Going to keep on loving boldly. Going to keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Amare, amo, no, how does it go? Amar, yeah. Haremos compasión, siempre compasión, siempre compasión, sin volar atrás, sin volar atrás. You sure there's not somebody that wants to come up and sing it in Spanish better than I can? Come on. All right, let's call it a day and ask the good Reverend Kelly Aspruth Jackson to welcome us here. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. We're very grateful for your presence here tonight. We're proud and pleased to be your hosts. I hope that you've already discovered the bathrooms, if that's information that you need, but just in case you haven't, there are gendered bathrooms out that door to your left and on the right past the kitchen, and there are single-use, non-gendered bathrooms, same direction to the left, up those couple of steps or around and up the ramp. Thanks for being here. I'm not going to waste more of your time, so I'm heading back to Tim now. All right?
So I know you've heard a lot from me already, but I wanted to just start in a moment of shared gratitude for this congregation, for Reverend Kelly AJ, who just said yes. As soon as I presented the idea of doing this, he said yes, and he's been saying yes all weekend in a beautiful way. And and this has been happening everywhere. But now, I want to just say that Building Unity, the project that launched this, launched here. It was in my paid position as a social justice coordinator here that I got the go-ahead to launch Building Unity, and Building Unity is soaring right now. And it started here. And I want to thank First Unitarian Society for caring enough about social and ecological justice that they actually paid a full-time social justice coordinator for as long as they possibly could. And not only was that good for me, but I think it was good for our community. And it helped me cut my chops at organizing. I want to just say a few things about the coalition that Building Unity has helped to pull together. There are now over 25 groups, including the Poor People's Campaign, including the Interfaith Peace Working Group, including the Mennonite Church, and a lot of different groups are joining us, Flame of Hope, and lots of different local and state and national groups are getting behind this effort to really pull together and unite about nonviolent resistance. We've seen what's happening in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and we know that it could happen here. In fact, many people believe it will happen here. And so whether it happens or not, the world is in a state, and has been in a state for a long time, right? It's nothing new. It's just, it's bubbled up to the place where now we can feel it. Even white people are feeling it. Even white privileged people are feeling it. But people of color have known that this state of emergency has been brewing and been affecting their lives for a long time, right? So we need to get organized. We need to get ready. We need to get trained. We need to get disciplined in the practices of nonviolence. In my humble opinion, nonviolence is our best strategy and our best hope. And the coalition is working very hard to organize nonviolence trainings with professional nonviolence trainers. We're bringing them in from around the country, and we're going to train ourselves so that we can scale this up in a big way. We're encouraging everyone to get into nonviolent action teams. People in teams work better and more efficiently than isolated people by themselves. In our capitalist country and our mass media, the way that our society has evolved, we've gotten away from the close knits of small groups working together, and we've got to claim that back. So Dandelion here, Dandelion, raise your hand, is coordinating Dane County, reaching out to churches, unions, neighborhoods, trying to get everybody organized in small nonviolent action teams. You can get on our mailing list and we'll keep you updated about all of this, but now is not a time for us to all be in our separate, isolated silos. It's a time for us to unite and build the movement for people, peace, and planet that we know is possible. Thank you. So, and there's a poster out there about our nonviolent trainings. We've got room for 100 people. We're going to be at Badger Rock School, a 2-day intensive training. So we're about half full, maybe a little over half full, and we're hoping that those people will then help us train more people as we do. There's another training happening in March. Are you wanting to say something? And oh yes, actually Monday night there's a Zoom in preparation for this. It's not mandatory, but there are 2 Zoom meetings this Monday night and Monday, March 9th, that you can get prepared for this 2-day training with the trainers themselves being on the Zoom. Thank you, Dandelion. And I promise you there is a God, or at least a divine mystery that I don't understand. But every day since I've started doing this work lately, I'm getting calls from people, and I mean, it has something to do with the rising up. But people are calling me saying, I want to get involved. And just before I came here today, an artist called me up and said, I'm making beautiful cards. I want to give some away. So there's free cards out there, calling cards that are about justice. And she wants to help make them available. So if you want to grab one on your way out as a souvenir from tonight, that would be wonderful. Let's see. Yeah, you could say. Good idea. Yeah, that reminds me, part of the nonviolent action teams that we're setting up, Dandelion is going to be making sure that we send out a week, for those teams that want this, there'll be a weekly action call or an action message, something you can do. And can you imagine if hundreds of groups are all doing the same thing? We're all calling to support our trans children this week, or next week we're supporting our immigrant neighbors, or the week after that we're all focused on climate change. It'd be so cool if all of us were focused together on the same action. And then if there's a really serious thing, what we would call a trigger event, where we need everybody mobilized, you'll get a call anytime, day or night. But the weekly calls will come at the same time, probably Monday night, we're thinking, right? That those will come out on Monday night. You can start your week with a suggestion of things you can do. That'll be coming soon. I know I'm going on. We got a new brochure. We just put this up. It's our very first brochure. Please grab one on your way out. It has the 6 principles of nonviolence, which we've posted out there. There's got them from the King Center. Most of you, if all of you probably know, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his colleagues were great proponents of nonviolence direct action. And he learned from Gandhi. And we know that those were successful and powerful strategies for causing change in our country and in the world. And without further ado, let's get on with the show. Now, early on when I was thinking about how we launched this thing, I reached out to Reverend Everett Mitchell, because if any of you know Everett Mitchell, he knows how to pack a punch in a speech and pull a crowd. And fortunately, he said yes. And John Nichols, who also knows how to pack a punch and pull a crowd, said yes. And we launched our coalition with those 2 great orators delivering a beautiful call to action on January 24th. And then I asked Everett Mitchell, like, well, who should we have moderate these elected leaders panels? And he suggested Alder Sabrina Madison. Now, Alder Madison, her real name is Madison, is a mom, first and foremost, and the founder and CEO of the Progress Center for Black Women, an innovative center that serves as a hub of community, connections, valued experiences, and opportunities for Black women to transform their lives and families. She is also in her third term as a Madison Alder for District 17. She is a highly recognized leader in civic engagement, economic development, and community empowerment. Alder Madison has served on key boards and committees, including the City of Madison's Economic Development Committee, Madison Public Library Board, United Way of Dane County Board, the Madison Public Market Ready Program. Her work spans initiatives in guaranteed income, arts and culture, and entrepreneurship. Affectionately, she is known as Hey Miss Progress, and her impact in the Madison area has earned her numerous awards, including Best of Madison Business Award 2019, President's Rising Star Award 2017, Most Influential African Americans in Wisconsin 2016. She's also featured in Essence Magazine's 100 Woke Women 2018 and has been honored for her leadership in social justice, economic equity, and community building. Please give a warm welcome to Alder Sabrina Madison.
All of the bios are up here. Where is everyone else's bio?
Oh, I got that for you.
All right, and I said just really all you had to say is I'm a mom, I'm a poet, and I'm an elected. Yeah. That's all y'all need to know.
Okay.
Where's all the bios?
And I'm a human.
That's okay. I know folks love these bios. I love them too. But how are y'all doing though? How are y'all doing? Y'all good? I'm not a boring person. Y'all gotta give me energy. I like energy. Okay, y'all, so ooh, what did you forget? Where's Art? Oh, go ahead, Art. That's okay. Yes, introduce Art.
So if any of you know me, you know I'm extremely human and flawed. And I get carried away and forgetful. But Art Shigoni is one of the dear beloved Madison activists, Wisconsin activist, a member of the Potawatomi and Menominee nations. Art is a spiritual leader, an activist, a father, and he's been a dancer that's moved around the entire world, dancing in countries around the world before heads of state and the UN and all kinds of things. He's the co-founder of the Call for Peace drum and dance company, which brought cultures together from around the world to express their traditions in dance and drum. And Art is always willing to bring an indigenous voice to the beginning of things. And I really appreciate you, Art. I'm sorry I forgot you there. Turn it back on. It's on now. Testing. Oh, good. Okay.
Thank you. I have to be honest. You guys suck at Spanish. For all the stuff that you learned in school, Spanish wasn't one of them. As a matter of fact, it should be Native American or Ho-Chunk in this area. You should be learning the songs. Anyways, welcome to my country. After the stuff that's been going on, I still think that the Native Americans should have sank those damn boats before they came over. No kidding. For all the stuff that's been happening now, you know what? I'm gonna put this call out. Come on, ICE. Here I am. Come get me. I want to see you take me off of my own land. my own country. But anyways, I want to say thank you for all these people that have come here tonight and gathered, and blessings to all of you. And thank you for the great food that you brought tonight. And bless all the speakers and the people that are here in supporting what's happening out there. And bless all their homes and their children and grandchildren. Because I know it's not just us that is affected, it's affecting our children and our great-grandchildren as well. So with that, thank you very much, Mama Kono, and I ask you to bless each and every one that's here and the places that we have to go, and bless and protect all the people that are out and about. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak here again. Mahawanan, thank you. Oh.
All right, Alder Madison, back to you.
Okay. So everybody should definitely give your. I know I'm like 5'1" and I've never reached the height of the microphone. So I appreciate whoever helped me with my short self. Thank you. Now I know where to go after I'm talking. So I just want to say, I think you all should just give yourself some finger snaps for showing up tonight. Like, it doesn't all, sometimes we forget to sort of like acknowledge that we're pouring in, that we're getting involved. So you should definitely recognize yourselves for joining and pitching in and showing up tonight. So I hope you do that. So I don't see Alder Harrington McKinney here just yet, but am I missing her? Are you here, Alder Harrington McKinney? No, so maybe she's just running behind. So I'm just gonna read it quickly just in case she shows up as we're going. So Alder Harrington McKinney was elected in 2015 as the first African-American female elected to the Madison Common Council. Later on that same evening, former Alder Sherry Carter joined her, and they became the first two African-American women elected to serve on the council. Kudos to Alder Harrington McKinney. So Alder Joe Maldonado serves on the Fitchburg Common Council, a position held since 2020. He represents District 1, which includes the Belmar, Pine Ridge, Jamestown, Meadowwood, Seminole Hills, and Harlan Hills neighborhoods in Northwest Fitchburg. I just gotta say, Joe be out here in the streets with the kids, y'all. I appreciate Joe's leadership. My son, who's 31 now, still refers back to old stories of him knowing Joe. So I would love to hear those stories too, so I could know, I want to be in, Okay, so Deputy Mayor Sam Munger. All right, Deputy Mayor Sam Munger serves as chief of, I keep calling it chief of staff, but you'll always be deputy mayor to me. Don't worry about it, the exact title. I'm gonna call you deputy mayor even after today, so. Okay, so Sam Munger serves as chief of staff to the mayor, where he helps ensure that the mayor's directives and priorities are executed and manages the mayor's office staff and operations. I just wanna say, he also has to deal with some alders like me, hitting them up for all kinds of extracurricular activities and tasks. Prior to that, he served as deputy mayor. He is an experienced policy strategist with over 2 decades of experience working on public policy at the federal, state, and local level. He was a policy advisor to Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers from 2018 to 2020, advising him on a range of topics, including voting and elections, administration, climate, and workforce and economic development. Prior to that, he worked at the Center on Wisconsin Strategy, also referred to as COWS, at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where he researched, wrote about, and advised public officials on a progressive state policy. He holds a JD from NYU School of Law and clerked for 2 years at the Southern District of New York. A native of Buffalo, New York, he understands the code. I just had to insert that. He has also called Madison home since 2008 and has 2 children in Madison Public Schools. So shout out to you, Deputy Mayor, Chief of Staff, Sam Munger. All right, rounding it off with County Supervisor Heidi Wegletner. Did I get it right? Okay, I'm trying. Represents District 2 on the Dane County Board and chairs the Health and Human Needs Committee, which oversees the largest county department, Human Services. Heidi is a legal aid lawyer who defends renters facing eviction and litigates civil rights and tenant protection claims against abusive landlords and government agencies. She is a co-coordinator of the United Legal Workers, also referred to as NOLSW, UAW 2320. So, shout out to Deputy Mayor, Chief of Staff Seb Munger, Joe Maldonado, Barbara McKinney, and Heidi Wegletner. If y'all want to come on up here, grab your seats. As they make their way, because they have to flip over the cards and figure out where they're sitting. So that's going to be interesting for y'all to watch them do that. But do we have other electeds in the room? Because I know I saw Blair from Madison School Board. Hey, Blair. Hi, any other current or former electeds? Because I don't like to miss anybody because I want everybody to know they're electeds. I think we got them. All right. And I don't know. I was like, maybe I should just force Blair to come on up here since Barbara's not here. Yeah. But I don't want to change. I don't want to change up the. I don't want to change up the program. But where Tim at? I say Blair should just come on up here because I love a good full panel.
I will do that if you ask me to.
I don't want to get in trouble. I'm in a church, y'all. I was already afraid of creeping over here with my coffee. But if Tim says it's okay. Dandelion says, okay, come on, Blair. Long as if I'm in trouble, I'm going to point to Blair. So Blair, if you can give us your title.
Yeah, I'm Blair Mosner-Feltham. I represent you probably as a Madison Metropolitan School District Board of Education member. We don't have specific districts, so it's a citywide position.
Thanks, Blair. Now, I just want to give my electeds, because I know you all have heard elected people can talk, right? We can go on and on and on. As you see, I've been going on and on since we got here. So I'm going to just ask my electeds and the questions, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and I have my handy-dandy timer from my Poetry Slam days. And then if there's extra time, we can continue to go on. I also don't know what time we're supposed to wrap up, so I see Tim coming. Hi, Tim, and Barbara McKinney is showing up now, but I'm gonna concede my seat to Barbara and just stand up here. Okay, Blair. So Tim, we weren't sure if Alder McKinney was gonna come, so Dandelion said it was okay for Blair to come, but we're just gonna, yeah. I'm gonna have Alder Harrington McKinney here, and then I'm gonna stand.
Okay, and when you need a break, you can also sit down.
I need the steps, so I'm okay. Yes. All right, Alder Harrington McKinney, you got that corner seat right there. So how much time do we have, Tim? I want to be respectful of time.
Well, we would like to be wrapping up around maybe 8:30, 8:20.
Okay.
8:20.
So I'm going to turn on my timer because, again, Alder Harrington McKinney, I did read your bio, and I'm going to start with you. And I'm going to put my timer on because, again, electeds can talk, y'all, and I got to keep them on track, keep us all on track. Okay, so, again, I just want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you to our panelists. Before we get with the questions, I always like to just break the room, get a little icebreaker. So how y'all doing? I want to know, what side did you drive from, and tell me, what is the best restaurant in Madison right now? You all should know this. Take Madison or Fitchburg. So you guys got 30 seconds, and this better be good because I want everybody to be taking notes, and then you judge them. Judge them appropriately. Judge them. I am going to start with the restaurant in my district, District 17, called Cuddy Leaf. It's an Indian restaurant. I freaking love it. It is over by Quick Trip right off of American Parkway. You can judge me by that. Order the mango ginger chicken. I don't want to hear nothing from y'all if y'all didn't try it. So, all right, I'm going to start here with Alder McKinney and work my way to the right. So, Alder McKinney, what side of town did you come from, and what is your favorite restaurant in Madison right now?
West Side is the best side.
No.
And I love Yola's.
Yes, Yola's is good.
I live in Eakin Park, and my favorite restaurant in Madison right now is La Taguara.
Ooh, okay, y'all, okay, it's going good.
I'm in the Belmar neighborhood, otherwise known as Allied. I would say in my district, there's only one restaurant. It's called El Gran Taco Gato. Simple place. They got tacos. They're good. Fitchburg, I would say Tapatios, off of Fish Hatchery. And then overall, one of my favorite places is Ahan on Willie Street.
Yes, they are good. They're good. Okay, Deputy Mayor / chief of staff.
You're gonna say that every time.
I can't help it. It's like, what do you mean you're not deputy mayor? And I've been saying this all this time. Okay, go for it. What's your favorite? And where you coming from?
Oh yeah. So I'm on the near west side, off of Monroe Street, so sort of Dodge and Monroe area, right by Trader Joe's. I'm very in love with Ahan right now, but if we're going local, there's right on Monroe. There's a restaurant called Lalande that is opened by Anne Marie, who owns Bloom, and it's it's really good. Highly recommend you try it.
Perfect. Okay. Heidi, supervisor.
Yeah, I live over by East High, so I
Finally, East Side. Thank you.
travel from there. And last night we dined at Little Tibet and had momos, and they were so good. If you haven't been there, it's a lovely place on East Johnson.
Love it. I'm just going to ask one of you guys to donate your cup of water to me. Thank you very much. I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you. It's okay. So because we're in church and I cannot help myself but to do this because we're in a church, I'm going to have one person from each section tell me their favorite restaurant. So who's going to tell me their favorite restaurant and where you're coming from tonight on this side? And don't be shy because I pick on people for answering questions. There we go, brave soul.
I vote for Cern Sap and New Lao Restaurant on Willie Street.
Perfect. Okay, Willie Street. I love it. Okay. What did he say? You have
Cern Sap.
on Willie Street. Okay, one from this section over here. Favorite restaurant, which side of town? And then we're going to kick off the questions. Back there.
East side, and we like SWAT down on.
Yes! Yes, fellow East Siders. Who else came from the East Side? Okay, y'all, we got to stick together because it's dark over here. Help us. From the East, SWAT. Yep, over in Sun Prairie? Monona, okay. Alderman Keenan, I'm just going to set this near you. Don't try to drink my water now.
Let me mark it so I can.
Okay. Starting with county supervisor and working our way back the other way. And I'm going to set my 3-minute timer. But again, if we have time, we can come back. So, starting with Heidi, or county supervisor, please introduce yourself and tell us how your role in local government can help prepare our community to respond non-violently if federal agents escalate actions here.
Okay, thank you. Heidi Wegleitner, she, her, and Alder Madison kind of gave my introduction already, and I don't think I need to add too much to that, but I have served on the county board since 2012 and have learned a lot in that time, and I've learned the importance of listening and developing relationships with colleagues on the county board, local staff, other elected officials, and I think that's really important for building trust and having effective preparation and communication in responding, especially in these really difficult times. So one of the things that I think in my role at county supervisor I can do is help to ask the right questions of our county departments about how they're preparing and what we can expect so that we can develop the right policies and practices to protect people as best we can, as well as to be able to communicate the facts to our community. And some of what we've been working on right now is trying to figure out how we can, the extent of county board authority to protect county spaces, to disseminate important information about know your rights information and things like that, as well as to make county services more safe and accessible. So that means, and these are things that can help everyone by making things more available through phone, through Zoom, so folks don't have to leave. If ICE is coming into town, it doesn't mean you can't, get to court or something like that because you can Zoom in. So I think part of what it's really important for us elected officials to be doing is to understand what the right questions are, get that information out through the community, and be a trusted partner in supporting the amazing local organizing work on the ground. You know, every level of government has different aspects of authority, so we need to be working together. The city has powers that the county doesn't. The county has powers the city doesn't. So we need to be working together with each other to figure out how to best protect. Yeah,
warning.
it's a big question, but that's my first stab at it.
Thank you. And all of us who serve in elected roles are used to someone telling us our time is almost up. So I just want to let y'all know we're used to it. So
We tell other people.
yes, I'm gonna try to whisper it very quietly versus like the mayor saying, Alder Madison's you for the second time.
Exactly. That's 3 minutes.
Okay, so Deputy Mayor / Chief of Staff Munger.
Thank you. Wow, that's loud. Okay. I'm going to try to put this off to the side so I can look at you guys while I'm saying this. So I think, I'll just start by saying I think I'm the only one up here who's not actually elected, per se. I work for an elected, for Mayor Rhodes Conway, and am here on her behalf and you know, to send her regards and convey her concern about this. I think it's really important to, I think local government has a really important role to play, and it's important to think about what local government can do and also about what the limits of local government is going to be in any situation where we're dealing with a federal system, with federalism. I think some of the really important things, I go to my mind perhaps as a staffer rather than an elected, goes to a very practical place about what the city can do. And I will say, for instance, a few weeks ago, in early January, pretty with, you know, a week or two after ICE had first come to Minneapolis, I was on a national call with folks from a bunch of cities, but some people from Minneapolis and folks from the mayor's office and the law department came on to talk about what was going on. And one of the things that I was struck by, in addition to all the other terrible things that you're aware of and have been reported in the media, and I think it's something that folks are now maybe more aware of, but was just the level of disruption in that city, not just to the people who were targeted or who were vulnerable, of course, to them, but also just that at just the level of chaos that was sown, from roads being shut down and traffic disrupted to cars being abandoned in the middle of the street. When ICE was detaining people, they were pulling them out of cars. They were leaving the cars running and sometimes rolling along the street. And that puts a huge strain on local government and on local public safety resources to come to tow those cars. So I think being prepared for that, you know, working with our for instance, the city parking enforcement department to make sure that we have all of our tow trucks on call and that all those contracts are up to date and that they're ready and have capacity if we are in a situation where we had to tow a bunch of cars and to deal with, you know, trying to return them to their rightful owners and so on. So there's a lot of, I think, practical things, and we can get into those more as we go on if it's an area of interest. I think another couple things that local government in general and the city in particular can be really helpful with is communications, and Heidi hit on this as well, but both in terms of communicating clear and accurate information to the extent we have it to the community. This is something that we heard from folks in, say, Los Angeles or in Chicago when, sorry, is that time?
10, 15 seconds.
Okay, so I'll wrap up quickly. Clear communications, I think clear guidelines in terms of what the city will do and won't do. For instance, what property can be used for, how police officers will wear uniforms. And then the last thing I wanted to say was the limits of what local government can do, because in the end, there is going to be no substitute for community organizing, for people power, for the kinds of efforts to support local businesses, to deliver food to people, staffing hotlines, acting as observers and legal observers, and those are things that city government, no government is going to be able to do adequately. We simply don't have the staff. You are the staff, right? You are the ones we've been waiting for.
Thank you. So now I just have to point out how Deputy, what is your title, Sam? How Sam is here on behalf of the mayor, and Sam, as here for the mayor, went over his time. So you see how electeds talk? We were still kind of talking over in the mayor's place, Sam. Just got to point that out. But in all good fun. We just like to make fun of each other. Okay, at least I do. I have fun with it. Okay, Fitchburg's, Joe Maldonado.
So not to belabor things that other folks have said already, but I think collaboration is important between municipal and county. Also going into school districts. We have 3 school districts in Fitchburg. I would also say that it's important to note that as things dissipated in the Twin Cities, you started to see the presence of ICE spread out into suburbs. So it's really important that our small municipalities are prepared because a lot of the operations that you're seeing in Fitchburg right now are small targeted operations, but still people that they were not seeking were picked up. I think that speaks to the importance that OSIS does, the importance that other community organizations do, which is signal chats, small neighborhood-based teams. And while municipalities don't necessarily control that, being in communication with the neighborhoods that I live in as a local elected official is incredibly important. I'm on those signal chats. You will see me walking around the neighborhood handing out Know Your Rights materials. And it's also important that we promote hotlines like WOSIS, that as many people as possible are trained in Know Your Rights in our schools, in our municipalities, and that we also have clear guidance on the things that we do. So I think drawing from other municipalities and their best practices are important, going to trainings for Minneapolis and seeing what their organizers are doing there and trying to take what works there and bring it here. And also, I saw that Chief Patterson in Madison established that their unmarked vehicles would have notification that they are City of Madison police. We're working on doing the same thing in Fitchburg. We also posted a Know Your Rights page with the city that links to other important resources. And also, the mayor directed the police chief to make a very clear directive that they do not cooperate with ICE because we are not 287G status, and only the Common Council can direct the city to work directly with ICE on anything other than violent crimes or things related to espionage, terrorism, things like that. So I think the more we know and the more we're connected to one another and the more we realize that everybody plays a role. I think you heard Tim in the beginning talk about Dr. King, but I think one important thing to note of the civil rights movement, and I know many of you know this, is that while there was kind of large pioneering charismatic figures in that movement, the majority of the work was based on small actions
Here
that
is your
every single person could
15-second
take.
warning.
And I cede my time.
And because we're in a church, and I cannot believe I'm getting to do this in a church, I'm going to ask you all, one on each side again, about the principles of nonviolence after they answer, so get ready, because we're in a church, and I like to put people to work too. So if you didn't pick up your principles of nonviolence, did anybody, y'all got them? Okay, don't act like y'all don't see me now. Yes, that's right, Tim. I'm putting the audience has to participate. This is a back and forth. Community, y'all, community. Okay, Blair, please introduce yourself and let us know how your role in local government can help prepare our community to respond nonviolently and if federal agents escalate actions here.
Absolutely. I'm Blair, and I'm in my synagogue. I'm a member of Congregation Shorei Shemayim, which rents space from First Unitarian, so I feel very at home here. With regard to how my role in local government as a school board member can help prepare us, I want you to know a couple of things. The first is that we have recently reaffirmed our commitment to not asking or keeping any records on immigration status for any students or families. So there are no records that we don't have those records. We don't ask, we don't keep that information. And so that is one way that we're keeping students and families safe. I also want you to know that we've dramatically increased the resources that we put towards student services in the past few years. When you hear about what's happening in Minneapolis or in other cities, you hear about the fear and the anxiety that students are bringing into schools with them. And so what we have now is more people who are equipped to support students with those fears and anxieties. Students have access to therapy in some of our schools. They have access to trauma-informed and trauma-sensitive counseling in our schools. And I think that's a big deal. The other thing I want to tell you about is a meeting that I went to recently that was actually put on by the teachers union. And one of the things that the leaders of the teachers union there said is if you're at work when this happens, if you're working as a teacher or a counselor or a lunch server or a school security assistant, that those jobs are important and you need to keep doing them because students count on you to be consistent, to be there, to not panic, and to trust that the neighborhood organizing will be going on outside. And so I think the other thing that a person in my position is be building outwards, right? There are limits to what a school district can do, and there are so many opportunities for ordinary people to support students when they're coming out of school. So that would be my quick little answer.
Okay,
Thanks.
and you had a minute left. Okay, now, Blair.
Yeah, I'm not,
Okay.
school board's quick.
Yes.
I'm quick.
Not common council. We use our full 10 minutes.
Not all of us, though.
Now Alder McKinney. Don't make me have to pull them videos now. Okay, Alder Harrington McKinney.
My name is Barbara McKinney, and I use the Harrington McKinney because after me, that's the last of the Harrington, so I have to hold that, so Barbara is good. I was elected in 2015, and when I was first elected, I was in District 1, which is the far west side. And with redistricting now, I'm in District 20, which is a more homogeneous community. And when I was in District 1, I'd knock on the door and I'd get the look. And then, because I didn't know what a mudroom was. And so I'd get the look, and then what I would ask the question is that, what keeps you up at night? And asking that question was a question that brought everyone in. And so I've been working really hard in community building and development. And so, as I said, I was elected, and I'm a proud alder of District 20. A lot has been said, and I would ditto everything that has been said, but it boils down to educate, communicate, building trust, know your rights, and that is so very important. I also thought about preparation. I mean, that is the key. It's like, how do we prepare? It's not here, but it could be. And so we don't want to wait until, oh, what do? We start preparation now. And the fact that we are communicating and working together is so very important. In my congregation, they have whistles. I don't know if you've seen the whistles. And so you have whistles. Hold it up, blow it.
Oh, I love it. Oh, look at y'all,
There's
look at
two.
y'all. Okay,
Oh my
gosh. Okay now. Okay, y'all showing off now. Y'all showing off.
And so that is an example of community building, because I know that you are not all a member of Christ the Solid Rock Baptist Church or Lake Edge, but the fact that it is that information is traveling through. And so that's what we have to work is that we work in community, we work together, we communicate. We're not isolated, we have to communicate. And so that is the piece that is really, really important, and that is the piece that I would be lifting up.
Okay, you got 30 seconds left. Perfect. So I am also,
Yield my 30 seconds back.
listen, okay. Oh, you see, alders will try to get the rest of the time too. Yes, we're slick with the time. We work our magic. But I do also want to answer this question. I'll be very brief. My district, I'm in District 17, which I call the best side of the east side. Don't be jealous now, y'all, if y'all know the east side. But the reason, so my district has a growing immigrant population. And I guess for me, it is, do my constituents know who I am? Do they know their alder? Do they know how to reach their elected? Do they know what their elected believes in? Do they know what their elected is sort of fighting for? And so I am in several groups with the immigrant communities across my district so they can reach me if there's any sort of emergency. And I also want to just shout out to what Alder Maldonado said. I also want to say, listen to what immigrants are telling us too, the Latino communities, the Haitian communities. all the various communities that are immigrant communities, please listen to what they want us to do. We get a good number of emails telling us to do all these things, and I'm like, actually, you're gonna put some folks at risk if we do some of the stuff you're asking us to do. So it's just like, are you really listening to the communities that are most impacted? Now, white folks are impacted all over Minneapolis right now, right? But more importantly, immigrants are super impacted negatively. But it is difficult for folks of color to put our bodies on the line. So I just want to say, be mindful, be in community with Voces, for example, with Centro Hispano. We really have some brilliant and dope organizations right here locally that we should be taking our direction from. So do you get what I'm saying? Be a partner to those agencies. So I want us to get through all of the questions, so I'm gonna just shake this up just a little bit. So I'm just gonna ask Blair and Deputy Mayor, Chief of Staff Munger, I can't help myself, to give your microphones to Tim so he can just give one to each person on each side, just for this one question. So the question to the audience that I'll also ask the other three who are left, I'm gonna ask, we've shared with you and the audience some principles of nonviolence. Please briefly reflect on one or more of these. One person from each area. And don't you all volunteer at once, so I'm gonna have to come down there and grab you. There we go. Perfect, okay. So tell us who you are, and the question again is, please briefly reflect on one or more of these principles.
My name is Sarah,
Hey, Tara.
and one of the principles is to choose love instead of hate.
Yes, that's beautiful. That is probably, I think, the best one for me. All right, thank you, Tara. And I love that royal blue. I love the color. All right, in this big middle section here, we got to pretend this is Sunday service, y'all. In the middle section here. Now, if I was a pastor, y'all would have, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jeanette, and the one I choose is nonviolence accepts suffering as a way to educate. And that speaks to the putting your body in the line.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for participating and help me jazz up our questions here. So now I'm going to ask Barbara Harrington McKinney, and then Joe Maldonado, and then Supervisor Wegletner to answer that question. Number 2.
My choice, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I chose number 3, and number 3 is nonviolence seeks to defeat justice, not people. And the reason I selected that, there is a Zulu phrase that is Mbutu, and that means I am because you are. And it is a personable of affirmation of that we are each other. So I am because you are, and we cannot exist without each other. And that's one of the things that I want to really move forward is that I cannot exist, you cannot exist, and that's what it's all about. It is that we exist together. I am because you are. And it's connection, community, I am because you are.
Thank you. All right, Alder Maldonado.
Nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. It's hard to be brave sometimes, and it's hard to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done. I know I've fallen short of that many times in my life, but I found that when I speak truth to power, even if my voice shakes, I can walk away with a clear conscience. And more importantly, when somebody sees somebody else speaking up, despite the odds, despite the resistance, despite the risk, other people will do the same.
Thank you. Supervisor?
So nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice. Nonviolence believes that the universe is on the side of justice. And I think finding hope and, like inspiration, which I feel like in these difficult, dark times is so critical. And I've seen it, with the stories of the deep organizing and support that's happening in Minneapolis, the selflessness, the connection is really heartening and really essential, I think, for us to be able to build on, to sustain a movement, is to be able to find that hope. And that, to me, is a demonstration that the universe is on the side of justice. I would also just reflect on one other one, which is the one that was Alder Harrington McKinney reflected on as well, about nonviolence seeking to defeat injustice, not people. And it reminds me of something I heard, I think, John A. Powell say at a YWCA conference once, which was like, be hard on institutions and soft on people, because we are not in this situation because of one person, because of President Trump. We cannot think that we're gonna defeat one person and things are gonna be just fine. This is, centuries of institutional and structural racism, hate, injustice that needs to be dismantled by all of us working together. So I think that's really critical as well.
Thank you. All right, we're just going to take a 30-second commercial break. Just going to ask, how are y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Okay, all righty. That was a quick 30-second break, or commercial break. I don't even watch TV, y'all. I barely watch TV. Commercials are a thing still? Oh.
Ads.
Because I have YouTube Premium, so I never see those commercials anymore. Okay, that's our commercial break there. All right, so I'm going to come back to number 3 because I really want to make sure you all get the opportunity to answer 4 and 5, but I think we'll get to 3 as well. So we're going to start with number 4. We're going to go Sam, Blair, Heidi, Joe, Alder McKinney, or Harrington McKinney. All right, Sam. Building unity for nonviolent action is working to foster solidarity, form, and organize hundreds of small nonviolent action teams, and get our community trained in the theory and practices of nonviolence. What speaks most strongly to you about this work, and do you see any ways that you might support it? What advice would you offer this rapidly expanding coalition?
Thanks for that question. Yeah, I'll try to be a little more brief this time, but I think thinking about what speaks to me about this work, I think I come back to something I said in my prior answer, which is that being in local government and in government generally, I've also served at the state and federal level, brings home to you exactly what the limitations of government are in terms of this work. And so, as I said, I'm conscious of the important role that the city has to play, and lots of folks on this panel spoke to the things that our various institutions are doing, but also there are limits to what we can do, and the work that you guys are doing are the answer to what those limitations are. That, to some degree, they do the things that city government can't in terms of supporting people in the community, in terms of staffing hotlines, delivering food, and so on. I think I feel like going to continue to hit on some of the same themes that you've heard already, but I feel like in terms of advice, I think partnering to this group and to everybody individually too. I realize that folks are part of a lot of intersecting groups and coalitions, but partnering with other groups that are in this space, with Voces de la Frontera, with Centro Hispano, the African Center, the Hmong Institute, there are and a whole range of others. We name-checked Reverend Mitchell, John Nichols. There are people in this space, and they all have important roles to play. And some of them, like, for instance, Voces, have developed of necessity because they represent folks who are, if not uniquely, certainly at the vulnerable end of the spectrum in our community have developed a really sophisticated infrastructure that includes a hotline that's very well staffed. I encourage you to volunteer for that, or at least be aware of it, memorize the number so you can call it if you need to. They also have networks to support folks and their families in the event of ICE actually ramping up its presence in this community. So I use that as an example, but there are tons of groups. There are groups that are doing great work. I really recommend that that you connect with them where you can. Also, get trained as an observer. If you plan to be on the streets, if you plan to be active in resistance, get trained. Honestly, I've been a legal observer, I've been an election observer, and I've been a protest observer. And
This is your 20-second reminder.
it's really important, right? And we've seen exactly why. To know how to do so safely, to know how to do so in a way that comports with your constitutional rights and affirms them, but also doesn't put you at risk. So I really recommend getting trained as an observer.
Perfect. Right on time. Thank you. Blair, same question.
Same question. I think the part that speaks to me most strongly is the hundreds of small action teams. The reason that speaks to me, I think, the most strongly is because the process of being together with other people, just like a classroom, is where so much transformation can happen and so many trusting bonds can be built. When I think about ways that I might support it, I want you to please remember that, at least in Madison, we have neighborhood schools. And if you are scratching your head saying, what do people in my neighborhood need? I would encourage you to call the school social worker. And they won't give you any information about who needs what, of course, but they will be able to say, we really need tampons, or we really need this particular thing. Don't overlook the existing infrastructure when you're looking to be supportive to people who are vulnerable. And for advice that I would offer, I would say remember that it takes all kinds. My spouse is a lawyer, and sometimes he says, oh, I should be doing lawyer stuff in movement work. But actually what he does is childcare. And to support a movement for justice, you need all types of things. You need people doing the childcare, you need people who are in a position to put their bodies on the line, and you need people doing dishes, and it all counts. That's my whole time.
Thank you. All right, I think I said Heidi next, or Supervisor next, because I took a commercial break, I could be off a little bit. All right, number 4.
So I think what is really interesting and neat about the organizing that's happening is like it's really about like knowing your neighbors and connecting like face to face or on the phone, getting kind of outside of a lot of what has, I think, separated us in some ways, whether it's social media or just like being isolated. And so I think and by necessity too, by safety, and because there's so much mass surveillance happening with big tech and the way that, these companies are working with the Trump administration to see folks kind of get back to old school ways of connecting, just person to person, also gets us out of our shells and has us stretch to get to know different people, and listen and learn from each other. So I've been really heartened to also see the kind of mutual aid that has occurred in other places like Minneapolis and the suburbs there, some of my friends and family doing, meal delivery and rent assistance. But also here in Madison, we have a lot of grassroots mutual aid works that are helping people who are unsheltered, that are doing volunteer street outreach, delivering meals and that kind of stuff. Folks who are unsheltered are very much at risk if ICE comes to town. They don't have a door to lock or post a sign that says private property, but there have been grassroots volunteers doing mutual aid work because the government hasn't been able to meet all those needs. And that's what we need more of because of the limits on government. And I think we can do it. We're seeing it happen in other places, and that can really be transformational in a political way if we all work together.
Thank you. All right, Alder Maldonado, followed by Alder Harrington McKinney, number 4.
So, to Supervisor Wigleitner's piece about surveillance, if you haven't heard of Flock, please remember it and look it up. It is a surveillance system that is implemented in many municipalities. The city of Verona last month voted to end their contract with Flock. Fitchburg earlier this month ended one of our cameras and plans to end contracts with the other 3 cameras because they have a known history of allowing their data to be shared with ICE for their facial recognition technology. So I'll just say that it's important for folks in this movement to not only play their part and do the small things, but also pay attention to what's going on and be ready to organize in the way that works best for them. I would say that solidarity is a word that sticks out in this question. Solidarity is often a concept that is used, a phrase that's used, but in action it's much harder to do because it often means that, you know, we can debate and have conversations over the differences that we have amongst us and the maybe different viewpoints that we have, but ultimately when it's time to move forward, you know, on something so threatening as what's happening, that we have an idea of how to play our role and we have an idea of how to be able to move forward together. I'll say that the advice that I offer to this expanding coalition is to hold your elected officials accountable, and that if there are opportunities to be able to urge policy, that you are in community with your alder, your school board member, your county supervisor, your state senator, your state assembly member, and even your federal elected officials as well. So that would be my advice.
Thank you. So Alder Harrington McKinney's going to go, then I'm going to answer. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, and then we're going to take some questions for you all because I want to keep y'all moving and engaged, okay? All right, so Alder Harrington McKinney, question number 4.
Question number 4. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and during the time when the metro system was coming in, the light rail system, the rails were far away from where the people lived, and the buses would not get them to where the transportation was. And so I'm a person of faith, so I need to say that. And so we wanted to organize small groups, but we did not know how to become engaged. And we connected with the Gamaliel organization out of Chicago. And what they did was they came into our community and they trained us small groups in faith-based. The churches got together and the Gamaliel Foundation came in, the Gamaliel organization came in to do training. And so how do you bring issues forward? How do we work in small groups? How do we not get upset when people tell us no? And that whole training process took, and that's really how I stepped out into a very quiet person, into a very active person, because that training assisted us in how do you speak truth to power. And in that organization period, we formed small groups, and we were able to say buses need to be in the community so that they can transport people to where the stations were. And we were able to do that. We brought in public officials, we brought in the Metro Transit. We were so powerful, but we were just ordinary people out of the churches. But we learned through that training, the teaching, the building confidence, all of those things they specifically worked with faith organizations to do. And we were very, very successful. And so this is what you are organizing now. in terms of how do we do it. And so there will be some training that comes in. That is so critical, because when you talk about being nonviolent, that means if somebody push you, I'm going to push you back. No, that is a trained sense of, this is why I'm here, this is what's important, and this is how I'm going to act. And so when those training sessions are set up, please, please be a part of those training sessions.
Oh, perfect, with 15 seconds to spare. Okay, so I'm gonna just give you some quick advice. So we do have a predominantly white audience, right? Am I not correct? Don't act like it's not predominantly white now. Don't do that. So it's a predominantly white crowd, right? And I always want to tell folks, no matter really what skin you're in, I say this to everybody, but in particular, I'm going to say it to you tonight. You really have to check your own stuff. Oftentimes, folks, especially white folks who I engage with in community in some respect, believe that they're very nice, they're very kind, they're very progressive, for example, but sometimes you're causing harm without even realizing you're causing harm to someone else, right? So I want to recommend 3 books for you. So everybody got a library card, or you have a home library, add these books to your library. And I also email them to Tim so he can send it to the group. The first book is Community or Chaos by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oftentimes folks love to talk about all the Dr. King gave his life. He didn't give his life. That man was murdered, you know. But he is talking directly to folks about what is our outcome. Do we want community or do we want chaos? And he gives us a blueprint for either or. I strongly recommend that book. The other book is three books in the trilogy. Bell Hooks' Love Trilogy. The one I suggest you start with is Bell Hooks' book, All About Love. She teaches you how to do the work, how to be in community from a love ethic. That is what I stand on. I put all of my work founded in her, in the foundation of her love ethic. I love her work. And if you want to be in community with Black folks especially, I recommend you start with All About Love as the first book you read that I'm going to share with you tonight. The last book is by Robin DiAngelo. It's called Nice Racism. And she is talking directly to white progressives and helping you understand how sometimes you're causing unintentional harm on folks of color, and you don't even realize it because you're just being nice. Does that make sense? Now, don't take it personal. Just do the work. That's all. Okay, y'all? That's the advice I have for you tonight. So we're going to have a couple questions. We're going to start right here with the questions. Yes, because I know I talk so fast. I was the oldest child, so I had to get it out quickly before my other 3 brothers caught up to me. So, first book, Dr. King, Community or Chaos. Second book, the Love Trilogy. If you just Google Love Trilogy by Bell Hooks, I suggest you start with All About Love, especially if you want to be in community with Black folks.
And I will, if you signed up there, I will send these out to everybody who signed up on our mailing list. So
the last book is Nice Racism by Robin DiAngelo, and it's directed towards 2 white progressives specifically. You're very welcome. Okay, y'all, so we're gonna ask questions for our panelists or for me, whomever you, and ask it directly to the person so I just don't assume who you're talking to.
I'll mention a book before I ask the question. Since we're talking about hard times, the book to read is Bonhoeffer, because Bonhoeffer was the man who was locked up by the Nazis, and he could have gotten away.
Gotcha.
Anything that Bonhoeffer did, and you could read, you should read.
Thank you.
But the question I have is a very simple question. Why, with you people from your political positions, haven't mentioned hiring lawyers to defend people who are picked up by ICE?
Yeah, so it sounds like, why haven't we as electeds discussed or talked about hiring attorneys? What I will say, one thing I guess I will just say quickly, and it's not an answer that I'm going to give you a full answer for, because some stuff is not really a good idea to share out loud, I guess I'll just say. But I will say there is momentum to raise money, to have monies available for hiring attorneys, but not as a political sort of, like, we're not writing a resolution to sort of hire an attorney. But we are considering what can we do in our elected capacities to support folks, whether it be, you know, food, housing, attorney fees.
I will say that under state law and under our county corporation council's opinion, the county cannot use general revenue to fund legal services. And that's, I mean, I'm a legal services attorney, and in law school I did removal defense. But as Alder Madison mentioned, I mean, there is a legal defense fund. There are groups in Madison that need resources to continue doing the work. The Centro Hispano maintains a fund. They work closely with Silk, the Community Immigration Law Center. You can become a sustaining member to support them. I think that's critical. Those same restrictions don't necessarily apply to the city, and they don't apply to the state, and they're important, and we need more volunteer lawyers. We need absolutely more resources for those critical
But there are
legal
law firms
services.
in town that would volunteer, give lawyers time to work for this particular issue.
Yep.
And that would help a lot.
Yep.
It seems to me.
Yep, I think I got what you're saying. And I do want to say, I believe that it's happening. I just don't think that we are going to be able to say to you, this is what the county, the city is doing, because it's not necessarily in our capacity to do certain things.
And there's not enough lawyers even in this town. They're saying they're going to other places to find lawyers to be able to do the work, because they're just so backed up. There's so much need right now for that legal work in Wisconsin.
Okay, we have right over here. Did you have a question or no? Sorry.
I have a question, then I'll give it
Oh,
to her.
perfect, sorry.
My question is, what will the city police and the Dane County Police Sheriff Department do in support of immigrants and in support of protesters? I mean, we've talked about what they won't do to cooperate with ICE, but I'm wondering what's the flip side of that? What conversations have been had? What can we count on from the police departments to protect us?
Yep, so I'm going to hand that one to Sam to answer.
So there have been, I mean, you should know, for starters, there have been extensive conversations around that, both within the city and in conversation in community with other cities and with other communities that have been affected. I think there's a lot of things that Madison police and local law enforcement in general can do. Some of those are, and I know this is, I'll say this, I know I'm not getting probably to the heart of your question immediately, but I which is like what happens when the rubber meets the road, but I think there are things that our police can do, like they will always wear a uniform. I shouldn't say that. They will wear a uniform in almost every circumstance. They will always display a badge. They will always have a name. They will always give you their name and their badge number. They all have business cards. They will give you a business card. So if someone shows up in tactical gear they will not wear a mask unless it's for health reasons. So if someone shows up in tactical gear with the mask and they won't give you their name, that is not local law enforcement. That's not MPD. I think one of my co-panelists mentioned that we are marking all the unmarked police vehicles, so you know what those are. The police department also offers trainings on safe protest and safe demonstration. That's both for you, but it's also so you know how they treat First Amendment protest and how they respect First Amendment right to protest. Another thing that I have heard our officers say in some of these public meetings is that you should consider them a resource, and you should, so this can be true if you're a protester, this can be true if you're someone on the street. If you see a group of people in tactical gear and with masks, they said, what would you do in any other walk of life? What would you have done 5 years ago if you'd seen that? You would have called 911, and you still should, and Madison police will show up, they will make contact with those people, they will ask them for their ID, they will ask them for their warrant if appropriate, they will make sure that they're acting within the bounds of the law. I think where the really difficult questions come, and I think this is, I feel like, I'm guessing this is maybe where you were headed with this, because we do get this question a lot, is what happens when there is some active conflict between, say, federal officers and protesters? Will police actually physically intervene? And I think I'd just ask you to consider, in terms of community safety, what role you would actually want different branches of law enforcement to play, because candidly, I don't think it serves community safety or anyone in this room to have physical confrontations or even worse, firefights between different branches of government. So police will act to protect First Amendment rights. Our MPD has a really extensive crowd engagement group that's all trained in First Amendment protest. They will try to form a buffer between
I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds,
protesters.
Sam.
Yeah, sorry. And I think there will be difficult questions, and they will be very context specific, but they will do whatever they can to protect the rights and the safety of the community. That above all.
Thank you. And I want to be respectful of y'all time. So we're at 8:19, and I'm going to keep an eye out for where our next question was at. Perfect.
Hey, I think this question might be for Blair, but anybody can answer. Thinking about doing mutual aid and really hyper-local organizing, I appreciate the point to reach out to the school social worker. Do you have a recommended model for parents, community members creating mutual aid funds, how that should be handled? There's some question about it shouldn't live in the school because that creates problems. Thank you.
Yep. And I'm going to give panelists 2 minutes to answer the next couple questions so we can get as many as we can.
It won't take 2 minutes. It won't take 2 minutes. I would say you're thinking about mutual aid funds. So in that moment, I would ask you to talk with your local PTO at the school that you're at, because PTOs do raise and hold funds for needs at a specific school. So I would say that's probably your best bet. It was a quick answer. Did I get there? Yeah. Sure. So there have been instances where school staff have attempted to do that sort of thing, but it's actually not something that they can do based on existing policies. And so that's why I would say go through your PTO where things are a little bit different.
No, go ahead.
The other thing that I would tell you is that our teachers union can do things differently than we can do as the school district. The list of people at every single school who are building representatives is on the MTI website, and you can contact that person directly, who will be able to connect you with whatever is happening sort of outside of the strictly school district kind of work.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback to say, definitely the PTO is the way. Some, not always, but they would connect you to parents who are super engaged. And I will say, at least at Sandburg Elementary, which I will always say is the best elementary school in Madison, because it's my district, and I love those kids over there. But in short, they have a really active parents groups and just like teachers and educators who live right in the neighborhoods with some of the kids, for example. So while the teachers in their official capacities are not organizing things, because they also have kids in the district, they may be volunteering for things too. So, but I would definitely say have one-off conversations with your school's leadership and the PTA. So you can know who's the who, is what I'm saying. Okay. Did we have other questions, I think, up here maybe?
I think we have time for, unfortunately, one more question, and I'm sorry about that. I know there's, but we do have to be respectful that these public servants, as well as the staff here at this congregation, have put in long days, and it is their Saturday night, so forgive us that we're going to cut this short. But there's one more question over here, and then I'll turn it back to you.
Yep, no worries. Common Council has gone to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're prepared, Tim. We're prepared here to be with you to 2 a.m.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Chris. I've got a quick question here. Thank you, panelists, for all your insights and being here for this. Clearly, a theme of community engagement and doing things that we can involve everybody. My question to the panel is, if you are in a neighborhood where there's clearly a mix, a spectrum of support for federal administration policies, ICE activities, what is your advice to engage people of the whole spectrum, not just people who are in agreement with you?
Ooh, I'll answer that. Because I always say, I'll sit down and talk to everybody as long as you don't disrespect me in the meeting. For example, I do that. I have folks who are both Republicans, identify as Democrats, and sometimes folks who are hard to the right, for example, who we sit down and have all kinds of conversations. And what happens when we do that, we realize that we both have family members, for example, who have some similar challenges. There's not too many differences among us except for maybe our politics and how we think about folks who don't sit in the same skin as us. So I guess I'll just say, as electeds, it's my assumption that most of us, if not all of us, sit down and talk with everybody from every sort of kind of belief, because Madison, while it is very absolutely liberal leaning, everybody lives here. You know what I mean? So I sit down and talk with all kinds of folks and usually come to some sort of solution. And when someone is sort of being very disrespectful, then you're just kind of like being a bad person. So I don't tend to take the bad behavior from anybody regardless of identity.
I'll add to that. I think part of building consensus is going issue by issue. I was actually in a meeting of faith leaders and city staff, and our police chief spoke, and we often don't see eye to eye on certain things. But what we both agreed upon is that people in municipalities should be able to feel safe contacting law enforcement, and that there should be a very clear distinction between federal and local law enforcement. So we actually were on the same page and have the same message. And it was interesting to see, the different folks in the room, many who I've interacted with and have very different views on many things than I do, kind of all nodded their heads in agreement with both of those things. So I think building consensus means understanding the issue and understanding where there is consensus, and if there's difference on certain things, be able to address those respectfully while understanding where the commonalities are and where you can move forward.
Yep. So, and I know it looked like you were reaching to answer that, Alder McKinney, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to give everybody 30 seconds to sort of say what you like to say, but I'm going to give you a minute because I saw you reaching for the mic.
I mentioned the Gamaliel training, but I want to come back to that because the training leaders in nonviolent theory, teaching structured community organizing methods, building disciplined small group networks, encouraging civic responsibility rooted in our case, in faith. Their model connects moral teaching with practical political engagement. And I say that because this is going to be challenging work. And in challenging work, you want to make sure that you have gone through the training to make you effective in what you're doing. The training is so very important. The training brought me from the back row of a church right into the center of it because I felt comfortable and I knew how to move. And so I really want to make sure that I talk about the training because this is what will make you effective. You want to make a difference. And so I really am touting that you participate in the training.
Thank you. Thank you, Alder Harrington McKinney. So starting with Blair to the right, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. What do you want these folks to know?
About talking to people you disagree with? I would say stay asking questions and don't skimp on the small talk.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to pick up the chairs and put them away at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what your position is. It doesn't matter how much money you make. We can all sit and serve people food. We can all take out the trash. We can all put the chairs away. That's humility, and that's the fact that we all have the same bowel movements, and we all bleed, and we all sleep, hopefully, some of us more than others, and I'm not better than you, you're not better than me.
Thank you.
I guess I'll sort of repeat maybe what Alder Maldonado said before, but my experience in talking with folks from a wide range of political beliefs about this particular issue is that there's a lot of areas where folks agree, and that there are a lot of people who, just whatever their general politics may be, whatever their feelings about the current administration may be, were really appalled by what they saw in Minneapolis, and that there's a lot of things that we could agree on in terms of what constitutes a respect for humanity, respect of basic constitutional rights, and how law enforcement should comport themselves. And I think if you engage folks, you'll find that though there may be places where you disagree, there will be a lot of, that Venn diagram will overlap a lot in the middle. There will be a lot of things that you actually can agree on and can agree should be, out of bounds in a national political system.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor and Chief of Staff. When you got to the Venn diagram, I was like, oh my God, I gotta catch him. I gotta catch him at the Venn diagram. All right, Supervisor, 30 seconds.
Don't do it on Facebook or next door. Do it in person or on the phone. And I just want to say these issues that we're dealing with right now have been going on a long time. I mean, it's a new scale, a new level, and it's shocking and horrible. But the violation of due process, the militarization of police, the over-policing of communities of color, the failure to get real immigration law reform, these are things that have been going on a long time. And now is a moment where we can, awaken and push back in all these ways to make the community safer for everyone, because a lot of folks have been suffering due to these policy problems for a long time.
Thank you. So let's give a round of applause for our panelists. I just want to say thank you to those who got up bravely and asked a question, because sometimes it can be difficult to ask questions in front of crowds, or answered a question and participated. One thing I just do want to say is, just in all of this, don't assume who is or isn't impacted by ICE. You all don't know someone's immigration status just by looking at them. So just be mindful about how you assume things about other folks. That's really, really important. But shout out to y'all for coming out, for being in community with us. Shout out to our panelists for being in community with each other and with the audience here. Thank you to Tim for organizing. Whatever part you played in tonight, shout out to you all. And shout out to your families, because your families allowed you to be here tonight. So shout out to them. And shout out to me for coming here kicking it with y'all tonight.
Ooh, thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And I did this in a church. And make sure y'all let people know, you did not see Alder Madison in here drinking coffee in the church or eating in the church like some of y'all. I wasn't in here doing any of that. All right, y'all. I'm going to stick around and network a little bit because I love talking, as you can see.
And I want to just say one last word to everybody. Thank you to FUS. And one of the ways you can help us is if you can do your networking and then slowly start moving out the door so that the staff can clean up and get ready for Sunday services tomorrow morning. They got a big weekend. And let's give a big hand to FUS, First Unitarian Society, for helping host this amazing thing. And one other big hand for Alder Sabrina Madison. Didn't she do a beautiful job? You are natural. Yeah. You were born to MC. Thank you, panelists.
And we'll see you at the caravan.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Be sure to come to the caravan tomorrow.